All right, hey folks, we are back. We are going to continue. We're going to do some Eberron art today here in the morning. I just wanted to be creative and loose today, so we're just going to do some creature art. So give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're up and running, and then we will get back to work here. So mic check, mic check. We will get back to work here. It's going to be A-okay. Excellent. So give me a second here to kick some signal across the internet here, just to say good morning to folks and to announce our presence. Let's see. Blip. All right, so hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here since the release of Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which was the first setting from the Magic the Gathering game that's also owned by Wizards of the Coast to be converted into a D&D setting to play Magic the Gathering inside D&D. But they instead of making D&D work with color magic, they instead decided to take the whole complex color magic system and instead just make it the 8 schools of magic and spell slots. So, hold my beer. I created the color mana spell point variant rule system that converts the 8 schools of magic and spell slots into a mana pool of different colors, and you use different colors to cast different spells. There's links to that in the description down below, along with a bunch of other books that I've created that have extensive free previews. You can check out how I create things if you want. I have my Spelljammer stream where we've been building a book since August 2022 to supplement the mechanics inside of the 5th edition version of Spelljammer. And we are currently making Crystals of Mavar, which is an adventure in the Eberron setting. Eberron is my favorite setting. It always has been since its release in 3rd edition back like in 2006, maybe. I don't remember exactly how long ago it was, but boy, it was forever ago. And but it's such a great setting. So it became my default location if I didn't have a homebrew world that I was creating. Eberron is where we would be. So this is the first published adventure that I'm creating. Oh hey, this is my Twitter, my X Twitter. If you're on X Twitter, you can follow me at Phil Kearney if you're interested. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when we're live in the future. We're currently at episode 202 of creating this 8th level adventure, Crystals of Mavar, which is located in Karnath. There's a necrotic lab that has a ritual and means of permanizing a manifest zone to Mabar, which is being exploited for fortune and fame, I guess. So the team goes in to try to shut it down before it destroys the world. Cheers. So you can see this book cover creation back around episode, it was like around episode 40 that we created the book cover. And here's the full playlist for all 200 episodes. You can see everything, all the maps we've been building for the adventure, all the creature tokens, NPCs, we'll be doing all of it here. If you want to see the process of creating a book, you can check out the Spelljammer stream that I have on my channel as well. To see us creating a book from scratch, basically going through the entire process of development, layout, illustration, and publication. So we'll be doing that same thing with this Eberron adventure. So that'll be an ongoing thing that you can check out if you want. Here's my Twitter channel. I have a Patreon feed. You can find my Discord channel by clicking on the About section of my Patreon as well. And again, here's a slew of books that I've created before that are on DMsGuild. If you think my stuff is cool, please consider making a purchase to support more behavior in the future. So let's get back into this. So we'll get the cover out of the way, and we're creating random encounters that have different creatures in the forest and manifest zone in the Carnwood, which is where this is taking place. So we are currently illustrating an assassin vine. So I'm going to drop the tree back in opacity a bit so it doesn't disrupt my signal here on what I'm actually working on. And then let's get up in this here. This is shadowy area. This is a all of these creature tokens are on. It's a 300 by 300 pixels space, which at the resolution of 300 pixels per inch, this is a 1-inch token that easily can fit on any virtual tabletop, or if you wanted to print it out and put it on your home table, you can certainly do so as well. It also helps make sure that I don't overcommit myself to detail on what could be something that never shows up in the game. So if you don't want to use an assassin, I mean, there's assassin vines in various locations throughout the adventure, but if you end up not using this token, then that's a huge waste of time. So I'm trying to make good use of everyone's time and involvement here. There we go. So the Spelljammer project is coming along super good. I wanted to take a mental break from that process to make sure I'm not burning out on it. Plus, I'm at a point of I'm in the assembly project, the assembly process right now. Assembly basically means that I'm not actually like here we're creating new art, but once we get into assembly, I would, like, for example, separate this out as a separate JPEG or with the background transparent, a PNG file, and then put that and all other 80 some odd tokens into creature folders that would then be sealed up to a zip file that would be downloaded with the PDF when you purchase the thing from DMsGuild. So that's assembly work, where I'm not actually creating anything. I am just simply arranging it in its proper position or packaging. And that doesn't make for very good stream content, because if you check out my Spelljammer stream from last night when I started creating the ship tracking sheets, character sheets for different spelljamming ships, which works really well with airships as well, by the way. We can spend some time on that here in the future. Once Spelljammer publishes, we'll come back and we'll take a look at how this stuff can apply to Eberron specifically. But yeah, if you check out that stream from last night, you'll notice that it's really difficult for me to do assembly work while conversing with people in chat. So I think it's best that I do that assembly work off screen, which is why I like running multiple projects at the same time, to be quite frank, because this allows me to maintain my tempo of streaming every morning and have, well, weekday mornings anyway. I take Sunday off like a god. And so, but I like to make videos on Sundays. So maybe I will make a video about airships instead of Spelljammer ships on this weekend, so that I can post something about like how my Spelljammer mechanics apply specifically to airships, so that it can be useful for the Eberron crowd. That sounds like a useful use of my time and something that would add value to other people's games. So I'll do that. I think I will do that. Okay, I gotta show it off. Hold on. I wanna brag this up real quick, just so you guys can see this stuff. Here, check out a test that I did last night for the Spelljammer supplement that we were creating, and then we'll get back to Eberron art. But here is. Let's see if that will go away. Well, here we have our navigation bar for the table of contents. Burp. But yeah, here's all the assembly pages. The navigation buttons work as intended, which I am thrilled about. And the interior, we have the hyperlinking done for the table of contents, so that's all working fantastic. I love these navigation buttons. They just take you wherever you need to go. It's so great. Let's go to Spelljamming Helm, make sure this thing's consistent. Additional equipment down here. Yeah, this is good stuff. I might adjust those buttons. But yeah, the thing works, and it's turning out beautifully. I'm really, really happy with the results of the artwork that I created. I'm loving how well the corners are meshing together here for the spillover effect that we have, and the resolution is really good. This turned out really, really great. So this is just the first chapter of the book, and then we have another 100 some odd pages. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. Yeah, I just wanted to brag this up for a minute. All right, we'll get back to work now. But yeah, that's the thing that's happening. I'm really, really happy with that. This is going to turn out great. All right, so that's the same kind of quality that you can expect for this Eberron adventure once it's finished as well. Page detail, artwork, layout. I do all that stuff. Stuart Braz is our editor. Andy Healy is our co-writer. And by God, I love this. We've had three DMs playtest it. I personally have ran 4 different teams through it. Again, it's an 8th level adventure in Karnath. Lots of undead, dealing with the manifest zones, Mabar, and multiple locations. It has a variable pathing, a Jacques in the dungeon, if you would, means of progressing, of navigating both dungeons and locations, as well as the manifest zone, and the plot itself can be Jacques. And there's multiple paths to get through the adventure, both narratively and physically through the different maps. So it's a good adventure. It's good dungeon content. I'm really, really proud of it. I'm thrilled that this is the first published adventure that I've created. Now, I've been DMing since 1987. So I've put in some time getting decent at running a game, and I'm really happy that my ability to produce PDFs and D&D content has progressed to the point where I can express an entire adventure like this at the level of quality that I want for my own adventure, for content that I purchase. So if this stuff is interesting to you and you want to watch this process continue on, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I'm going to be live in the future. The Spelljammer book has been the focus here probably for the past year, but now that that's dropping off my plate, this is becoming my primary project. So you're going to be seeing the same level of focus and attention for this Crystals of Mabar adventure. With the same pace and focus that you see in the Spelljammer stream that I run in the mornings. So it's just my morning art stream. It's my morning coffee art stream, as it were. I wake up, do some art. I'm here in Seattle, so it's 7 o'clock here in Seattle right now. I have an alarm that goes off every 20 minutes to make sure that I'm keeping track of time. And I've been blessed with work from home opportunity for the corporate job that I day job. So I get to paint for a couple hours in the morning, log out, and then put in my hours of servitude to my paymaster. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar. They pay me for my time. I give them my time. Sometimes I come back for lunch. Like you can check out the Spelljammer Eberron campaign that I've been building for my home table. We just finished an Eberron campaign from level 1 to 20. It was a time loop adventure where the team was attempting to prevent the world from being destroyed, and hey, they succeeded. So they get to play another campaign in Eberron because it still exists. So they wanted to change the pace, so they know that I've been making a Spelljammer supplement. So they wanted to play Spelljammer. So we created the Sybaris Asteroid Belt mining campaign that we had our first playtest, our quote-unquote playtest. We had to develop a system light mechanic resolution because there's 6 people at the table, and it's a my quote unquote home table right now are my coworkers at lunch. So we have 1 hour a week for 6 players, up to 6 players. It's a West March game, so up to 6 players can show up for 1 hour and try to progress the goals of the mining corporate of the Dwarven, Gnome, and Warforged operated mining operation that's in low orbit around Eberron, mining the giant Sybaris crystals that are floating in orbit, along with other rocks with precious metal. So that's been a really fun campaign to develop. I loved creating the mechanics for that here on stream. Yeah, so we had our first playtest, and I'm going to be back. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays is I have a dev stream where I build different toolkits or artwork or mechanics or whatever it is that we're working on. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at lunchtime. In the morning, I do artwork just like this, my coffee morning stream. We do this Monday through Saturday in the morning. On Monday and Thursday night, I stream art as well, and I could be running up to 3 different projects at a time. So when one project drops off, the next project in line becomes my primary project, and then my tertiary project becomes my secondary project, and then we pick up a new project. So I'm typically rotating through 3 different PDFs at any given time, producing and publishing them, and then just continuing down the line. So currently Spelljammer is my primary project, but that's about to publish. Then this Eberron adventure becomes my primary project, and then when that publishes, I'll get that out of the way. So right now it's Spelljammer, Eberron, and my homebrew campaign. But the homebrew campaign is live and running, so I don't need to develop that anymore. So I get to slide that out of the way. We've been developing a martial powers project, which is basically giving the word I'm looking for is martial characters get an alternate spellcasting system called powers that they can spend a spell point resource, kind of like monks, to do various effects like smite spells and boost effects, like basically like battle master maneuvers and smite spells kind of combined together. Fine. Base. There, I'm gonna get that out of the way. So we've developed martial powers to the point where it's ready for playtesting. So now that the wait for it. Yeah, now that my homebrew campaign is up and running, I'm going to provide some commentary and further thoughts about that at lunch today, and then we're going to get back to developing the Rubble Belt West March campaign in Ravnica for the color for the martial power system that we've been developing, which can use the color magic paradigm that we developed for Ravnica, Theros, and Strixhaven, and honestly any other Magic the Gathering setting that you'd want to play. There, like that. So we put that on hold since my my table had a new campaign that needed to be developed. And now that that's up and running, I can set that aside. And get back to my other projects. So Spelljammer is coming off my plate. Eberron becomes my primary project. My secondary project is the Martial Powers playtest campaign that we're developing out. And once that's active, we'll be taking either Monday, Thursday, or Saturday and instead of streaming, I'll run a 3-hour playtest using the power system, and and I'll be playtesting that for a number of months, and once that's completed, the Eberron adventure, basically once the Eberron adventure adventure finishes and it gets published, then we'll shift gears again and make the Martial Powers our primary project. And we'll be doing some revisions from the previous books that we've published once the new core rule books are released for 2024, which I believe starts happening in September if the rumors are true. So I'm going to have this book published and out of the way by then, so that we have a clear plate to start working on these other projects together. I'm looking forward to it. But it's important for the health of the stream and my sanity to have multiple projects running. Each project's going to be interesting to different players. And on top of that, if I have multiple projects to rotate between, I can help sustain my creativity and not suffer from burnout, because I'm always working on something else and feeling pressured. While I'm working on this, I'm feeling pressure to work on Spelljammer. While I'm working on Spelljammer, I feel pressure to work on this. When I work on Martial Powers or my homebrew campaign, I feel pressure for both of them, because I only have so many hours a week to work on anything, and I have to choose what I'm working on. So by maintaining that pressure on myself, I'm always motivated to keep moving forward with something, because if it's not this, then it has to be something else. But they all have to get done eventually. So I can apply that peer pressure onto myself to keep producing until something gets published, and then I apply that pressure to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and it keeps me alive. Keeps me going. I love lighting effects and shading. This stuff is so fun to do. Very good. Grab that in there like that. More spirally stuff. Very good. What if I did it different? This. Ooh, I like that better. I bet that's what I was intending to do. Yeah. All right. Let's blot all that and stick on course with this. So I like this better. God, I'm so ridiculously hungry. It's insane. More of that, please. Oh my God, so good. Cool, our mic's working. Mic works. There. Feels pretty good. Just like that. Fold that in. I prefer Evil Genius. There, like that. Go back to hell. Yeah. I could have this done today. I think that's reasonable. Almost there. Almost done with the shading anyway. Then we get to go through and do the highlights the same way, but on the other side. Thank you, Timely Timer. That's really good. I'm really happy with that. So, next thing is next. Birth. Let's take that. I don't need to do nearly as much highlighting. Shadow, there's a lot of need for shadow because of the way that it wraps around the form of the branches and the trunk and stuff. But highlights, having highlights less, more sparing is the word I'm trying to use. By being more sparing with the highlights, I can use it to, well, highlight different results, different areas and effects. Like this curvature helps make it stand out three-dimensionally by emphasizing the portion that's closest to the camera. Doesn't need to be crazy. Just a little bit. And I can add in a little bit more shadow here and there where it seems appropriate. Where's this at? Why? There. Good. There we go. Stitch that shut. Keep moving forward. Good. said, I don't want to get crazy with it. You can overemphasize highlighting. Like if you're working on a piece and you get to a point where you're using highlighting all the time, it probably just means that your base color isn't bright enough. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's peel these colors out of the way. There. And let's bring the tree back up to full opacity. There we go. Now that we have that in effect, I'm going to make another layer and just make sure that we have properly treated highlights and shadows throughout the form. Now that the tree has equal weight in the illustration. I'm struggling with words this morning. Don't mind me. Good. There we go. I'm using shadow to help outline, to outline, that's the right word, where these vines are all curling together, because these are all facing away from the camera. So when it's fading away, unless there's a direct source of light behind the subject, when it's facing away from the camera, you add shadow to define its shape from the space behind it. And you lean into highlights when it's facing towards the camera. Unless there are unique environmental lighting effects that would cause it to have a different mood, a different lighting. Mood is absolutely the right word in that instance. Because you would use unusual lighting angles to create mood. There's not, like, if you're having like, if something's backlit, it's destroying the ability to focus on the front of it. It's placing emphasis on the background and obscuring the subject that is being enshrouded, as it were. So that creates a mood effect. Because lighting absolutely dictates the emotion of a piece. Feels pretty good. Yeah, I don't think I really need to do any more with that. I think I'm content with it. So yeah, cheers. That one's done. Let's go ahead and bloop, stitch that up. We'll put a lock on it. We'll scooch it up here to the top of the list. There. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more to go. So that's going to be a D10 to see which one we work on next. So I'm going to jump into random.org. What's this fuss about true randomness? Well, there really is no fuss here. Roll a d10, again, 8, so we'll go down the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to work on the ghoul next. So conceal that. Open this up for... I forgot how goofy this guy is. That's so great. I love it. What goofball bullshit is that? Do we have a reference? Oh, cool. Word. There, Google. So that's our background, or our sketch. And here is our line art. And that's right, I need to go find, I want to find an image of a ghoul. 5e ghoul. Hey there, buddy. What you chewing on there, pal? Drop it. Let's see. Do they credit who this is? I don't think so. Basic rules. Yeah, there's no art reference. All right, well, cheers. Whoever you are, you did a great job. Let's see. Let's grab. So when you don't see any color, I don't see color. I'm colorblind. So for me to be able to use color, I have to grab images and color sample them. See? I'm color sampling over here. I'm color sampling over here. There's a decided bluidness to this guy. So, yeah. Let's, sure, why not? Let's go with that. Reference. Line art, sketch. Let's put we're going to just drop in a base color layer and then use that for highlighting and deeper shadow. I love sketching. I want to do a project that is less serious, that allows me to fill it with loose sketch and like more impressionist mood sort of illustrations than like hard reality, semi-realism. You know, like I want something more casual and loose and fantasy feeling, more whimsical, and I can pull that off with sketch art, but not as good with color. We're still figuring all that stuff out. Oh, the oil in my eye. Look at that! Look at that sketch art doing work for me here. Here's our sketch. See, it's allowing us to create all of these little added details inside of the space without having to specifically call attention to it. I love that. So we have that blocked in. What we'll do is we'll end up erasing all of these little sketchy bits that are all floating around outside of there. But we'll get to that in due course. How are we doing on time? All right, I've got another 20 minutes, so we're doing great. So let's get back here into our highlight again. Let's just grab this. No, let's keep. I want to keep working on. Yeah, that feels right. Sleepy Phil. Get out of here, scallywag. Oil in my eyes, killing me. Very good. Do like that. I like it. Next we'll do a highlight. There we go. Yeah, not bad. let's add this fabric here. Just the base for now. And then we'll highlight and shadow it as well. The same process. Bravo. And then we'll add highlights over that. Grab this lighter color and that darker color. That did not work out like I expected it to. There. There we go. Hey, it's raining. Big surprise. Welcome to Seattle. It doesn't rain in the summertime at all. So it's an unknown truth that basically like from June till September, there's very little rain at all, at least in the Seattle region. We do have a rainforest in the Olympia Peninsula, and that gets a lot of rain because, you know, it's a rainforest. I want to let's do that. I don't know why it has an afro. That makes no sense at all, but I love it. Up a little bit, drop in some darkness around his face a little bit more to push it forward. Hey, Kat, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, he's got that. He's got that crazy look to him. This is what I'm going to. I'm calling this a ghoul. And although it might not be realistic for undead to have such a thick mane of afro glory, I think it fits the piece. Fun little sketch. Let's see. I want to add in, I think, a little bit of texture. I'm going to collapse all of this. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to merge that down so it's a single layer. So I can start rendering some detail into here just to mesh it all together a little bit more. Push up the strength of that push a lot. Just trim down the limbs a little bit here. Okay, what do you got going on? He's got the boomer stare. You made me snort. That weird fingerness. There was a book series called River of the Dancing Gods, and it was by Jack L. Chalker, who did a ton of sci-fi and fantasy novel series in the mainly in the 80s and 90s. But River of the Dancing Gods was about a world that was it was a magic fantasy world that was self-aware of its own tropes and circumstances of fantasy. The way that it works was that the way that the world works is that there was this chivalrous agreement amongst the powers that be that people would play roles in society, and what their role was a matter of fate and fortune, and they basically got assigned a life role that they just naturally attuned to as they grew up. If you're destined to become a fighter, then you just be interested in fighter stuff and just find yourself in that career. And so it was built to create buffers and assurances between different races and monsters and demons that all interacted in this mutual shared world. With very different interests. So they made this pact, basically, that assigned fate to everything that was created. And so it was designed to keep the monsters at check, but the powers that be corrupted those rules over time to eliminate heroes and champions from rising up to fight the oligarchy reign and control that these mages had over the world. And so the story picks up at a truck stop in, I think it was Pittsburgh, and a hooker was getting a ride from a freight truck driver, and they ended up finding while they were traveling there was a wreck, and when they got out to look at the wreck, it was a setup. and they when they looked around, they weren't at a wreck site anymore. They were in a fantasy world, and what had happened was this archmage in that society was a quote-unquote good guy, and that he was attempting to fight the corruption of the other wizards that were in control. But the rules of engagement that had been created over time were preventing new heroes from being created because of what their fate was when they were born. And so what this archmage realized was that, if I bring people that weren't born here, they don't have a predetermined fate. And I can twist the dice, as it were, to help them become the hero that couldn't naturally occur anymore in this world. So he got this truck driver and this hooker to become his new character heroes in this epic quest that he was basically forcing them to partake. He became a barbarian. She became a sorceress. And then he basically set them loose to get trained, to become low-level characters, to take on insignificant quests that were worthy of their stature. And he kept feeding them information and resources and means to succeed so that they could accumulate power, so that they could become more and more specialized in like smashing stuff or casting spells and beguiling people. And there was like a 5-book series of these characters evolving from not knowing anything as first level heroes into these epic champions that this wizard was crafting over time to help take down different evil wizards that were gaming the system for their own comfort and advantage. And the reason I'm bringing all this up, all this preface, is they ended up building, like, they assembled a team of heroes. They found, like, at one point they got this this master thief that was famous for being able to conquer magical traps to steal wealth from wizards and keep it concealed so that he wasn't just killed with magic from afar and scrying. And so at some point, like probably in the 4th novel, they went back to Earth, in like our world, to fuck around with stuff, and it was to gather resources like some guns and stuff to take on a threat. So they didn't have the means of being able to eliminate the threat with the technology that they had in the fantasy world. So they cheated by going back to the real world or our world and picking up some serious tech. And while they were there, this rogue fell in love with Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island, and the only way he knew to see her was to buy a bunch of VHS tapes of the old Gilligan's Island TV show and a TV. And so he got a battery that the wizard helped him set up so that he could play the TV, and the wizard was able to keep leverage over him by feeding him TV shows. But the funny thing, the moral of all of this point is that at some point there was a necromancer that was their main villain that they were fighting at the time, and during an ambush, or basically the heroes they got ambushed while they were in their home in this fantasy world, and the rogue was watching TV because he wanted to spend some quality time with Mary Ann. And a bunch of zombies came in and started to attack the place. But when they saw the TV, they would just stop and stare endlessly at it. Like, they would never stop watching TV. As long as the TV was on, it completely disabled any zombie that could see it. So they started carrying the TV around to shut down zombies and be able to wade their way through the horde. It was so funny. Sorry, long story short, too late, but it's a great show. It's a great book series. It's called River of the Dancing Gods, and it's all sorts of great stuff, because all these tropes can control the destiny of everything that lives there. Like, there's this dragon that was compelled to eat virgin maidens because that's what the trope said a dragon was supposed to do. It hated it, but it couldn't stop itself from doing it, so it was begging for help. Someone please stop me from killing these women. I can't help myself. They help get a therapy. And it's so great. Such a ridiculous show, or such a ridiculous premise for a book series, but I mean, it sounds so tropey and like it's been done 1,000 times. But like, this was 1984 that this book series came out. Like, this was cutting edge new trope fantasy shit that Schalker was exploring, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. It was like, as far as I know, it was the first example of a genre-aware fantasy setting where heroes were, what do they call that? Isekai, I think, in anime. Like, it's a whole genre of anime now. But as far as I know, Schalker engineered it and created it with the Dancing God series. And God, it's just so funny. Like, the barbarian, his name was Mac, and he named his magic sword, what was it? Irving. Because that was the name of his son, and he missed his son, so he named his sword after his son. And anyway, it was it was a great show. I mean, it was a great novel, a great series. It was like 5 books. It was totally, if you're into that kind of crap, it's completely worth your time. Jack L. Schalker did a lot of great books like that. The Soul Rider series is probably the most famous one that he has. And then the Well of Souls is also another one. Like, a lot of his books are around transformation and heroes being trapped in circumstances and contracts and finding their way to break or operate inside of them. So it's really good, like, Warlock trope type content. I only have a few moments left. Anyone that's catching the stream after the fact, or you know, that came in late, at the beginning of this session, I have a 12-page sample PDF of the Spelljammer book that I've been building. Basically, just a proof of concept to make sure that everything was streaming well, and it looks fucking awesome. It is a really, really well built book. I'm very, very pleased with it. But I spent like a minute looking at it because that was what I was working on last night. Yeah, I'm not liking how that's turning out. I'm gonna pull that back. All right, the muse is about to let me go. I can feel her loosening up. There. Fun little token we're building here. This guy's great. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here for now. I think I'm going to have a lunch stream today, and that'll probably be in about 5 hours, I think. Probably spend just a little bit of time. Our first session for the Asteroid Belt campaign, the Eberron Spelljammer Asteroid campaign, where we're building out these ability checks as our resolution mechanic. We had our first game on Wednesday this week, and I've let it kind of I've been digesting it, and I have some feedback and thoughts about it from a DM perspective that I want to hash through and look at modifying how it plays. The team loved it, but I'm not happy yet as a DM with how the game flows. So I wanted to walk through that a little bit, and I'll do that at my lunch stream today. But that's it for now. So we'll come back. This is Friday, so we'll come back on Monday and we'll keep doing this stuff. The Spelljammer book should be publishing probably on Wednesday. I'm currently assembling, like putting the art in the proper plates and aligning it in the pages, and we're building the spelljamming ship tracking sheets. I like the format that we have for those now. I did that a little bit last night. And then we have to extract all the assets, like the tokens and maps and stuff like that, and package them as color and black and white assets in separate folders to put into the zip file that goes along with the publication when you buy it. So, but this is where we're at for now. I'll be back later on in about 5 hours to talk about the Spelljammer Eberron campaign a little bit. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning on my workbench, probably working on ships some more. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do on Saturday. I haven't quite figured it out. We'll see where I'm at by the end of tonight with my books. And we'll just make the next logical choice. But, hey, Ken, thanks for hanging out, man. And anyone else that's catching this in the future, I'm glad we still have a future for you to catch this in. Thank you. And I hope you're having a great day. I'll catch everyone on the other side. Like, subscribe, bell icon, notifications, yada, yada. I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Cheers.